So almost ready to get underway here at the third Thai cricket. And in usual fashion, it looks like it's Azaz Khan, the skipper, to open up. Just trying to measure out his run-up. The teenager Kushal Malla, barely 16, will be taking strike. He's already stretching his arms, perhaps eyeing up cow corner. And he, of course, will be opening up with skipper Gyanendra Malla. Hong Kong, interestingly, choosing to leave out Nasrullah Rana. You'd imagine that brings Kinchit Shah into play, likely to bowl out his 4-over quota. As Azaz Khan runs in for the first ball of the chase. That's on target. Aftab Hussain with work to do at third man. Cuts that off. Batsman will be looking for 2, perhaps a 3. And yes, they come back for 3. So positive start to the innings there from Nepal. Kushal Malla just getting on top of the bounce there. And he gets underway, as do Nepal. Aftab Hussain tidying up there at third man. He'll have an important role to play with his slow left arm orthodox. A 6-3 offside field here. Back of a length on target from the skipper. Turned away off the hips. And that's Gyanendra Malla opening his account. Azaz Khan has just perhaps lost a yard of pace over the years. Having said that, still deadly accurate. Hong Kong, interestingly, going in with a spin-heavy bowling lineup. That's worked off the legs once again from Kushal Malla. He seems to be timing it pretty well so far. Tries to guide that away. The Nepalese skipper, unable to get any bat on it. A quiet first over so far. Azaz has already found his lines and his lengths. Gyanendra Malla, however, is not one to be kept quiet. And that's left alone, but it's wide of the off stump. commentator's curse, perhaps. We were just praising Azaz for his accuracy. He'll be looking to get out of this over unscathed, as the sun starts beating down on the third tie cricket ground. Not quite in control of that. It was uppish. Aftab Hussain, at third man, tidies up once again, 7 off the first over. With the right-left hand opening combination, it will be interesting to see who Hong Kong bring in at the other end. We've seen Kinchit Shah open the bowling on so many occasions. And yes, once again, it looks like it's Kinchit Shah to open the bowling. We've already talked about Kinchit's batting in the first innings. Although unable to deliver today, he is one of the most improved players and improved batsmen on the associate cricket scene in the last 18 months. And he's played an increasing role with the ball as well. He'll be coming around the wicket to Gyanendra Malla. Just a little too straight on the legs. Malla unable to put that away though. Once again, just tries to tuck him up. Mid-wicket. Does the cleaning up. Now in the first innings, we didn't see any obvious, visible demons in the pitch. But when the slower bowlers did pitch it just short of a length, it was a little harder for the batsman to get it away. So length will be the key here for Kinchit Shah. Kushal Malla, however, will be looking to go after him. Let's cut away, straight to cover. Once again, into the cover region, unable to pierce that gap. There's no fielder on the boundary on the offside. So once Kushal Malla does beat the infield, just goes on with the arm there from Kinchit, mixing it up really well. Flatter, quicker. Good start here from Kinchit Shah. Just 2 runs off the over so far. And right on target once again. A tight start here for Hong Kong. Nepal just 8 without loss after 2. Still looking for their first boundary. Azaz Khan set to continue. He's just got another 2 overs left after this one. A little too straight perhaps. Aftab Hussain able to clean up there at fine leg. Azaz Khan perhaps very fortunate to get away with that. Gyanendra Malla not quite happy with himself, just practicing that shot once again. As we mentioned, Azaz Khan with just 2 overs left after this. Hong Kong going in with a spin-heavy attack. Harun Arshad, of course, can chip in with his medium pacers. And Nazakat at mid-on chooses not to go for the catch. Just beats him on the half volley. Kushal Malla with his and Nepal's first boundary. As we watch that on the replay, just back of a length, swatted away. Nazakat will not be happy with that misfield. Kushal Malla once again unable to pierce the offside field. Like I said though, Nazakat will not be happy with that. And could that be the boundary that just gets Kushal Malla going? Perhaps a slightly below par score from Hong Kong in the first innings. But it is always useful to have runs on the board. And this time he does manage to beat cover. It looks like Jamie Atkinson there, who's still able to get a hand on it. Just slows the ball down. Doesn't run to the boundary, but the batsmen do cross over for 2. It's a quick outfield here at the Third Thai Cricket Ground. Once you do beat the infield, it is easier to get a boundary. And that's edged away to Aftab Hussain at third man, just a single. A big shot attempted there from Kushal Malla. Interesting to see that Hong Kong don't have any slips in at this stage. And Scott McKechnie now up to the stumps. Turned away on the leg side for a quick single. Batsmen easily get through to round off the third over. Nepal 17 for none after 3. And it's Kimchit Shaw to continue from around the wicket. Once again, just keeping things tight. Only conceding 1 run in his first over. Bowling to his field. And that's swung away on the leg side. And that goes all the way. That's Gyanendra Malla's first maximum. And a much needed one. His score moves on to 11. Nepal, after a quiet start, just getting a move on here. And that's pulled away this time through the hands of mid-wicket. It'll be interesting to see on the replay if he did indeed get his fingers to it. And yes, that does go down as a drop catch. Disappointing for Hong Kong. 10 runs so far off the over, with 3 balls remaining. Intelligent cricket there. Just rotating the strike after 10 runs in the first 3 balls. So Nepal keeping up with the required run rate here. Pressure now on Kinchit. That's shorter, a little quicker, and Kushal Malla pierces the offside field. As we said, it's a quick boundary. And this over is going from bad to worse for Kinchit. 15 runs off it now. Still 1 delivery left. Both batsmen looking really good here. And that's lofted over cover. Kushal Malla showing why all the hype around him is justified. Back-to-back boundaries for him. 19 runs off that over. Nepal now 36 for none after 4. After a quiet start where they only got 8 runs in the first 2 overs, they've hit back with 28 runs in the last 2. A change of bowling. Harun Arshad into the attack. Harun Arshad, of course, rose to prominence in the 2018 Hong Kong T20 Blitz, playing for the Galaxy Gladiators. And that's whipped away off his legs. Signature Gyanendra Malla. Two straight from Harun Arshad. Effortlessly lifted over mid-on. So the boundaries continue to flow for Nepal. An appeal from Hong Kong, perhaps a little optimistic. A wide called from umpire. Although it looked like it may have hit something on the way through there. It didn't look like bat, however. The ball just slowing up a little bit before it reached Scott McKechnie. Once again on the legs. Just worked away to square leg for a single. Hong Kong desperately need to drag things back here. This opening pair just threatening to take the game away from them. Watchfully played there from Kushal. And he tries to take the aerial route. And he skied that up in the air. Long on, makes no mistake. Hong Kong with their first wicket, breaking the all-important opening stand. Kushal Mullah looking to be aggressive once again. Unable to make good contact. And Nizakat at long on makes no mistake this time. Nizakat making amends for an earlier misfield. And could this be the wicket that brings Hong Kong back to life? Nepal's talisman, Paras Khadka, strides out to the middle. The iconic number 77. Nepal now with their two best batsmen at the crease. Hong Kong will be aware that if they can break this partnership, particularly if they can get Paras out, things could slow down for Nepal. Nepal, of course, a very top-heavy batting order. And for around a decade, their hopes with the bat have rested on the shoulders of former skipper Paras Khadka. Skipper Gyanendra Mullah just surveying the field. Back of a length on target there from Harun Arshad. So a good comeback after conceding a boundary off his first ball. Just 6 runs off the over so far with 1 ball left. Just worked off his hips. A single to round that off. 7 runs off the over. Nepal now 43 for 1 after 5. Change of bowling. Ehsan Khan into the attack. The ageless, evergreen Ehsan Khan. It will be interesting to see how Nepal play Ehsan, who is arguably Hong Kong's biggest threat with the ball. And just as we predicted, right on target with his first ball. Tries to guide that away, Mullah, to no avail. Ehsan Khan starts with a pair of dots. Although criminally underrated, Ehsan Khan is always one of the first names on the team sheet for Hong Kong. And that's worked away, or he tries to, And once again, he just finds the fielder. How often do we see this? Ehsan Khan comes into the attack and the runs dry up. A stellar record for Hong Kong. And finally, Nepal able to get some runs off his bowling. Just 2 balls left in the power play. Paras Khadka getting ready to face his first delivery. Mid-off is in the circle, and we've got a long on the boundary. Just push down there to that fielder at long on, Nazakat Khan. A very tidy start here from the veteran off spinner. And he beats the infield to the left of backward point. A good way to end the power play for Nepal. 49 for 1 they are. At this very stage, Hong Kong were 48 for no loss. So neck and neck. Gyanendra Malla moving on to 27 with that boundary. Given his high standards, however, Ehsan will not be happy with the way he closed out that over. And it's Harun Arshad to continue with his second over. And that's whipped away on the leg side. Kinchit at deep square leg does the tidying up. An easy single. That's 50 up for Nepal. 1 ball into the 7th over. It's been a well-paced innings so far from Gyanendra Malla. Able to keep the scoreboard ticking, not taking too many risks either. Just waiting for the bad ball. And it's exactly the need of the hour for Nepal. Not a very challenging asking rate here. And that's whipped away Aftab Hussain with a chance, but it beats him. Down to deep fine leg for a boundary. Gyanendra Malla keeps ticking along. Hong Kong will need to break this partnership if they want to register their first 2 points of the tournament today. Once again, just 2 straight. Gyanendra Malla happy just working that away for a single. Harun Ashard, of course, started off as a bowling all-rounder, but recently we've seen him play a more prominent role with the bat. Was very proactive today in his innings. Ran very well between the wickets, and he's already made a contribution with the ball. Oh, and he almost deflects that onto the stumps. It will be interesting to see on the replay if that was deliberate. It looks like it may have been deliberate indeed. And if that did go on to hit the stumps, Hong Kong would have broken this partnership and gotten rid of Gyanendra Malla. But it's not to be. Can Ehsan drag things back here for the men in red and black? A long on and long off in place. Just a single there. On target. And that's just picked off the hips for a single. Yet another promising start to the over for Ehsan Khan. Just 2 runs off it so far. He would have been disappointed with his last over, conceding a boundary off the last ball, but can he close this out? That's an appeal. It looks like, well, the finger's gone up. For a minute there, at least from my vantage point, I thought that was sliding down leg. Let's take a look at this on the replay. It's going to be interesting. And the big wicket of Paras Khadka too. Just coming from wide of the crease. On second thought, it was probably just clipping leg stump. But an absolutely massive, potentially game-defining moment there. Paras Khadka, he doesn't want to, but he has to walk back. Nepal now 58 for 2 with 1 ball left in the 8th over. And Dipendra Singh Airi walks out to join his skipper at the crease. An absolutely massive moment there for both teams. The required rate now just creeping up to 8 runs and over. Just a single, 3 runs, and the all-important wicket of Paras Khadka. Ehsan Khan delivers once again. 59 for 2, Nepal. And you'd have to say, with that wicket, It's hard to pick these two sides apart. It's been a tight contest so far at the third Thai cricket ground. And a change of bowling. Unless my eyes are deceiving me, that's Aftab Hussain. Yes, indeed, it is Aftab Hussain. He's put in some key performances for Hong Kong in the last 6 to 7 months. Not the ideal start there for Aftab Hussain, just dragging it down a little bit. The ball just getting stuck in his hands, perhaps. No harm, no foul, however. Just a single there. Unable to find his radar still. Just paddled down to fine leg. If he didn't get any bat on that, it would have been called a wide. So a bit of a scratchy start here from Aftab. Can he finally find his line? He does. Oh! A direct hit. And Gyanendra Malla was probably gone. Aftab Hussain finally finding his radar and a leading edge. And that's eased into the offside for another single. Nepal will just be looking to stitch together a partnership here. Hong Kong, however, putting on the squeeze since conclusion of the power play. And once again, just straying onto the legs. Eased into the covers. Work for the cover fieldsman to do. And the batsmen come back for two. That ends Aftab's first over. 7 runs off it. Nepal tick along to 66 for 2. So Hong Kong just dragging things back. Just 17 runs have come since the conclusion of the power play in 3 overs. And a reverse sweep there, and another drop catch from Hong Kong. They will not be happy with this. A regulation chance, really. And it just goes through the hands. Aftab Hussain, the guilty party there, as this one's just paddled down. to deep square leg. Very disappointing there from Hong Kong. Could have had their third wicket in quick succession. Not to be, however. Fuller from Ehsan Khan, just mixing it up a little bit. Dipendra Singh Airi unable to do much with that. Yet again, the veteran on target. An appeal for caught behind, and yes, it's given. It looks like Airi did get some bat on that. He's not very happy. He's standing his ground. He walks off reluctantly. Another big wicket for Hong Kong. Another breakthrough. And the pendulum just swinging. There's the men in red and black as we look at this replay. It looks like it hit his glove, came off either his hip or his leg, and ballooned up. Scott McKechnie. And that brings Pawan Saraf to the crease. The required rate now in excess of 8.5 runs and over. And watchfully played, giving Ehsan the respect that he probably deserves. Nepal now 68 for 3 at the halfway point of their innings. Things not looking so comfortable for them now. A reminder that a loss here for Nepal will leave them with no choice but to win their last 2 games. One against the hosts, Nepal, and one on the final day against against Singapore. And I don't need to remind you what happened the last time Nepal and Singapore squared off in a winner-takes-all, do-or-die encounter. And straight to the covers. Yet another dot ball. And again, good work there in the covers. Aftab Hussain backing up Ehsan Khan really well in this over. His radar was slightly off in his first over, but taking corrective measures here. The required rate has now just nudged over 9 runs and over. Just slapped away off the back foot to the sweeper on the boundary. Just a single. Gyanendra Malla now a lot resting on his shoulders. watchfully eased into the covers. Gyanendra Malla now with a bit of a dilemma, whether he should rebuild or step on it. And that's a big shot from Pawan Saraf, and a chance here for Long On, who makes no mistake. Yet another wicket falls. Pawan Saraf this time, the man to succumb. Aftab Hussain with his first wicket. Things going from bad to worse here. From bad to worse for Nepal. Gyanendra Malla still out there. And Binod Bandari now walking out to join his skipper. Nepal really cannot afford to lose this game. If they do succumb to the men in red and black, they will have to rely on other results to get through. At the start of the day, we were talking about their decision to put Hong Kong in and how Hong Kong would not have been too dissatisfied with that. Hong Kong do prefer to get a total on the board and defend it. We saw them do that so well against Jersey and Canada in the T20 World Cup qualifiers, and they're doing it here again so far. Yet another appeal, very optimistic this time. Just a single there to Aftab at fine leg. Binod Bandari. Can he provide his skipper with some much needed support? Off his first. And that's an interesting, not quite a paddle there. It's premeditated. The ball wasn't as straight as he wanted to, but he was still able to get it down and beat short third man to his left. An important boundary there for Binod Bandari, an important boundary for Nepal. Ehsan Khan, interestingly, in his last over. So Azaz not choosing to hold him back. Just whipped off the legs this time, straight to mid-wicket. Once again, just worked away on the leg side. And that brings to an end Ehsan Khan's spell. 2 for 18. A big contribution there, including the wicket of Paras Khadka off a slightly controversial LBW. That may have been sliding down leg, or it may have been clipping. In any case, as things stand, in the last 8 overs. And that's swept away. It's aerial. No issues, however. Kinchacha does the tidying up there at deep square leg. Mullah, however, would have had his heart in his mouth for a second. That's cut away. Unable to find the gap, though. The Binod Bandari. And that's a big shot, but it's in the air. He hasn't quite connected. Nepal have now lost half their side. Binod Bandari tried to get a move on with the asking rate climbing. Just sort of lost his shape there. As we look at the replay, Aftab Hussain just dragging his length back, bowling it really wide as well. And he made Binod Bandari reach for it. Bandari not able to get it anywhere close to the middle of his bat, just skying an easy catch-up to cover. Aftab Hussain has now chipped in with 2 wickets. A very impressive spell from him. Hong Kong spinners certainly bowling the right lengths on this track. We saw Nepal spinners on a few occasions just erring too straight. Sushan Bari especially was guilty of that. Arif Sheikh now at the crease. The required rate is now in excess of 10 runs and over. This won't be an easy proposition for Nepal. How quickly this innings has gone pear-shaped for them. Just 30 runs in the last 6.5 overs since the power play. Just a single to round off the over. Nepal now 80 for the loss of 5 at the end of 13. Hong Kong supporters will be wary of counting their chickens before they've hatched. Hong Kong in recent times have just struggled a little bit at the death. In that heartbreaking loss to Oman in the T20 World Cup qualifiers, they did leak 50 runs in the last 3 overs. as Jatinder Singh and Naseem Khushi on the day flayed it to all parts. And with the conclusion of Ehsan Khan's spell, a change of bowling, Kinchit Shah, who will be taking over. And he'll be going around the wicket to Arif Sheikh. Just tucked off the hips there, just a single. Brings Gyanendra Malla back on strike. You get the feeling that it all rests on the skipper's shoulders here. Just a change of field. Looks like mid-wicket has been moved to a cover. And the cover fieldsman is in play straight away. The captain himself, Azaz Khan, unable to stop that single, however. That's flayed away on the offside. Deep cover. Has no trouble cutting that off. A 5-4 leg side field here for Kinchit Shah. Does not take a genius to guess his line of attack. He'll be looking to keep things tight and to tuck the batsman up. A top edge sweep there. The man at deep mid-wicket there, opting against going for the catch. And it would have been a tough one. So Gyanendra Malla continues to struggle for timing post the power play. Just going on with the arm there from Kinchit. Still no boundary for Nepal. And right on cue, that pierces the gap between cover, deep cover, and Jamie Atkinson at long off. A much needed boundary there. They've got some power in the dugout as well. Karan KC still to come. Sandeep Lamijane as well can give it a whack. That just beats the cover fieldsman for a single. Aftab Hussain now into his final over. No boundaries off his bowling so far. He's kept things tight. Just a single as Aftab cleans up off his own bowling. Lightning quick work there from Scott McKechnie. Gyanendra Malla caught out of his crease, just reaching for the ball. Beautiful flight and guile there from Aftab Hussain. getting a little grip off the surface as well. And with Gyanendra Malla walking off the field, you feel like Nepal's chances are slowly evaporating. As we take a look at this replay, Aftab Hussain with his third wicket. Coming in from wide of the crease. Beautiful drift in and turn away from Gyanendra Malla. Unable to do much with it. It looked like he was just trying to nudge it away for a single. All he managed to do was walk out of his crease as he walks off the field. And it's that man we were just speaking of, Karan KC. Can he pull off another miracle? The man responsible for Nepal's nickname as the Cardiac Kids walks to the middle. It's going to be a tough proposition, however. Nepal needing almost 2 runs a ball, with wickets falling left, right, and center. Aftab Hussain, with 3 wickets, has another 3 balls left in his spell. Can he add to his tally? Watchfully played there from Karan KC. Can't really afford to get his eye in, however. He's got to go for it. Long on, long off, both in place. An appeal there from Aftab Hussain. Hong Kong not happy with that. They felt like it had just straightened enough. Perhaps the umpire thinking it was just sliding down leg. Hong Kong, they looked convinced. And they're in search for blood. A slip in as well for Aftab Hussain. A straighter one. What a spell it's been from Aftab. 3 for 14 of his quota of 4 overs. Hong Kong spinners really coming to the party tonight. Or, well, not tonight. Get the feeling that things are getting out of hand for Nepal. Hong Kong, though, not taking anything for granted. Scott McKechnie and Kinchit Shah in deep discussions, along with skipper Azaz. Kinchit Shah has a little expensive today. And he's not bowling around the wicket. He's coming over the wicket this time. And yet another dot ball. Nepal now, they faced 4 consecutive dot balls. 5 if you count the wicket. Make that 6. The runs have dried up. Hong Kong just tightening the noose around Nepal. Once again, Arif Sheikh unable to get under that. Mid-wicket tidies up. A big shot there from Karan KC, and it looks like it's gone all the way. Nepal are going to need many, many more of those if they're to make a fist of this. Kinchit Shah once again coming in for some tap. Massive hit there from Karan KC. As we've already mentioned, you can never count the cardiac kids out. Flatter from Kinchit. Karan Casey unable to beat mid-wicket there. Even with that maximum in the over, the asking rate climbing for Nepal. And a dot to finish things off. 8 runs off the over. Hong Kong won't mind. Nepal are going to need a lot more than that. It's gotten to the stage where they need 2, maybe 3 boundaries and over to really make a fist of this. Harun Arshad coming back for his 3rd over. Hong Kong will be delighted at Harun Arshad's return so far. Nasrullah Rana played throughout the majority of the bilateral series against Malaysia, the Interport series. And that's skied up in the air. It looks like it's a chance for long off, and it's taken. So Karan KC has to walk off. Nizakat Khan with the catch there at long off. Things going really pear-shaped now for Nepal. Harun Arshad, just as we were talking him up, chips in with his 2nd wicket. From a tactical perspective, it was important for Harun Arshad to do well today. Hong Kong playing only 1 more seamer apart from him. And in the last 12 months or so, Harun Arshad has rarely ever completed his quota of 4 overs. If he went for runs today, Hong Kong would have no option, perhaps, than to bring Nasrullah Rana back. And he's been expensive himself. So things just coming together here for Hong Kong. Back of a length. Eased away into the offside for a single. Not going to be enough. Not even close. What can Sandeep Lamichhane do? During MCC's tour of Nepal, tries to have a swing. There's an appeal there for stumping. The umpire is unmoved. Sandeep Lamichhane quite disappointed that he didn't make connection with that. Another catching opportunity, and it's taken. A brilliant running catch there. So Sandeep trying to break the shackles. No choice but to go for the big shot, and he holds out. Nepal now 8 down. It may sound a little defeatist, but at what point do Nepal start thinking about net run rate? With 56 now required off 21 balls. Nepal are quickly fading out of contention. It's been a tough start to the tournament for Nepal, who would have been considered one of the pre-tournament favorites. And that's pulled away. Another catching opportunity, and yet another wicket. Third wicket in the over for Harun Arshad. And he's on a hat trick now with Nepal with just 1 wicket remaining. They're now 99 for 9. Harun Arshad, what a performance. What a contribution today. Ehsan Khan and Aftab Hussain also chipping in with 2 and 3 wickets respectively. A very polished performance here from Hong Kong, especially with the ball. Bouncing back from the 5-0 whitewash they suffered at the hands of Malaysia prior to this tournament. And once again, at what point do Nepal start thinking about net run rate? Do they just go for it? Or do they knock it around? In either case, their net run rate will take a huge hit after this loss. Hong Kong, on the other hand, will be looking to keep things as tight as possible. Harun Arshad now is on a hat trick, looking for his 4th wicket of the over. And he runs into Abhinash Bohara on a hat trick. Abhinash Bohara has an agricultural swing at that through the offside. 17 overs are done. No hat trick for Harun Arshad. And 100 up for Nepal. Purely trivial at this stage. Skipper Azaz Khan will be looking to finish things off. Net run rate could play a huge part in this tournament. A reminder that only 2 teams go through to the final qualifying stage for the Asia Cup. Abhinash Bohara, will he have another swing? Yes, he does. And it looks like that was dropped there by the fielder at Gully. It runs to the boundary for 4. And yes, sorry, it's a short third man over there, just holding his fingers. It did sting him. It looked like it landed just short of him. As Oz runs in once again. Avinash Bohara, like a typical tail-ender, backs away, gets his front leg out of the way. Unable to make any contact, really. Well, Avinash is not going down without a fight. Another swing and a miss. With a highly improbable 51 now needed off 15. Nepal will be wondering, where did things go wrong? Another swing towards the leg side. And that is over the man for 6. It looked like he may have just parried it over. Let's take a look at the replay. And yes, it looked like it was probably going over anyway. But perhaps a very important blow that for Nepal. If they could just stitch together perhaps another 15 or 20 runs. Avinash Bohara once again just having an agricultural swing to the leg side for just a single. As I was saying, if they could stitch together perhaps another 15 or 20 runs, their net run rate won't take as much of a hit as it would if they lost their last wicket right now. As Ozkan a little frustrated with this over, no doubt. He's conceded 11. He'll be looking to close things out. And that's smashed down the ground. It does not beat mid-off, however. And that's Sushan Bari with his first runs getting off the mark. Nepal now 111 for 9 at the end of 18 overs. And it will be Harun Arshad to continue from the other end in search of his 5th wicket. In comes Arshad. A slower ball. And it's taken by long on. Nepal all out for 111. Harun Arshad drops down on the ground, kisses the turf. Thankful to a higher power as he takes his 5th wicket. His best bowling figures in T20 internationals. Potentially a man of the match performance there from Harun Arshad. The players shake hands. Nepal, unfortunately, were unable to continue their momentum after the conclusion of the power play. Hong Kong spinners, and of course Harun Arshad, were right on point. Ehsan Khan, Aftab Hussain, and Harun sharing all 10 wickets between them. Nepal will be very disappointed. Their net run rate has taken a hit, and it's do or die now for the cardiac kids. Hong Kong walking off. They can be very proud of their performance in the absence of many key players. And coming off a 5-0 drubbing to Malaysia, they were able to post 154 for 6, led by opener Nizakat Khan, Harun Arshad, and Ezaz Khan chipping in with 29 and 27, respectively. With the ball, they looked in trouble at first before the spinners and Harun Arshad, as I said, tightening the screws on Nepal, who lost all their momentum and their remaining wickets after the conclusion of the power play. Yanendra Malla, the only score of note there for Nepal, with 46 off 43. Hong Kong registering their first win of the tournament by 43 runs. On this doubleheader Sunday, there's still one game remaining. Join us in around 55 minutes for the second game. The second game between hosts Thailand and Malaysia. And I'll see you in 50 to 55 minutes. I'm your commentator for the day, Jay Dancing Hadi, and you can follow me on Twitter at JCricketDude.